Hi, this is Dr. Jeffrey Moss, and I would like to welcome you to this edition of Moss Minutes. You might remember last time I left off talking about issues related to the true value of micronutrient vitamin mineral supplementation, specifically looking at the multivitamin multi-mineral supplement. And as I pointed out, there are many studies that are suggesting that in terms of overall benefit, it's not what we'd like to believe, not what we've been heard and talked about over the years. Certainly there are specific populations of sick people that do benefit due to issues of diet and changes in metabolism, but for the most part, many people are not benefiting from a population perspective. And I want to bring up, with that train of thought, I want to bring up still another paper that really affirms this idea that the foundation of the industry over the years of multivitamin, multi-mineral supplement is really not giving us the kind of benefit that we had kind of been talking about and what we hoped in terms of overall outcome. This paper is entitled Vitamin and Mineral Supplements of Questionable Benefit for the General Population by Donald McCormick. Now this comes from a major nutrition journal, Nutrition Reviews. It was in the April edition. And so this is a journal over the years has published probably thousands of studies advocating the use of supplementation in specific instances. So we can't necessarily claim bias. I know that's a kind of popular to claim bias for when we have negative studies. Well, this is certainly not an issue of bias here. This has, over the years, been a very objective, high-profile journal. But this paper is suggesting just what I've been talking about. In terms of overall population issues, there is question of benefit. But even more than that, this idea that, well, it's natural, so it's totally safe no matter what the dosage, they point out this is certainly not the case. And given that more and more people, particularly sick people, are eating more and more refined foods, processed foods that for the most part are fortified, again, this question of benefit, are these patients truly depleted? Are they truly deficient? And if they aren't, giving supplementation, are we really going to add to a problem? So with that in mind, given the question of is there benefit of micronutrient supplementation routinely, the question comes up, well, what do we supplement? Do we need to supplement anything? Well, as it turns out, there's a very large body of literature that shows that there are certain areas that do need to be focused on that haven't gotten the attention they deserve in terms of supplementation. And probably the top of the heap is one that we're hearing more about, but probably not enough, and that's the issue of protein. Now, why protein? Well, number one, just think about it. Virtually everything in our body is made out of protein. Heart, lungs, gut lining, muscles, mainly they're made of protein. Certainly there is some fat, maybe a smattering of carbohydrate, but for the most part, our body, these structures are made out of protein. And so we need a fairly significant amount of protein. But there's more to it than that. You know, one of the things another thing we talk about is this issue of protein quality. Are we getting the right amount of certain key amino acids? Particularly sulfur amino acids, branched chain amino acids. Many times, no. But still, there is another issue that comes into play. Certainly there is a lack of intake, but as has been demonstrated more and more, that I've been talking about, when we have patients who are ailing, and there are more and more of them, metabolism changes, and the amount of intake that is needed to function optimally goes up dramatically. And this is certainly true for protein. Why is that? Well, when you're sick, you need to make more and more energy, make more and more sugar to kind of escape the saber-toothed tiger. Well, where's that energy, where's that sugar going to come from? Well, there's three major storage depots for energy: fats, proteins, carbohydrates. Carbohydrate we can't store that much of. Fat can't convert fat readily to carbohydrates, so what's the body do? It starts converting protein to sugar in fairly significant amounts. This is called gluconeogenesis, and it is a significant issue. And therefore, more and more papers are showing that 0.8 grams per kilogram body weight that we all learned that we needed in terms of protein, it may be good for that mythical healthy person, but more and more literature is showing that for elderly populations, people who are losing muscle mass, and if you walk down the street, you certainly see that that's epidemic, isn't it? Loss of muscle mass due to lack of exercise, poor diet, aging. They need 1.2 to 1.5 grams per kilogram body weight. A very large body of literature is demonstrating that. And there's one other thing also I wanted to mention. We've heard about this issue of C-reactive protein. We've all heard that, C-reactive protein. We've heard it's an indicator of heart disease, an inflammatory mediator, but it's a protein, isn't it? And one of the things that the literature is showing is it's not just an indication of heart disease and inflammation, it's what is known as an acute phase protein. And what we are now learning is that when the body is under stress, when you're sick, and you start seeing that C-reactive protein go up, what it's also telling you is that the protein you're taking in, instead of being used to build muscles and build new white blood cells and ligaments and gut linings, it's going to build more inflammatory mediators, more C-reactive protein and other acute phase proteins. So the question comes up, if metabolism is correct, is the protein going where you want it to go? I'm going to touch on all of these subjects in the next Moss Minutes on one of the true issues of deficiency and need for supplementation in our society, the issue of protein. This is Dr. Jeffrey Moss. Thank you for joining me for this edition of Moss Minutes. I look forward to talking to you next time.